Hi. Anyone who saw my Mary porcelain pick for February saw my other Mary Lincoln doll, and some people actually wanted to know more about her. So this is my other Mary Lincoln doll, and it's Women's History Month, so who better to start with? First, I'm going to talk about the doll, which takes my breath away. This is an accurate replica of her inaugural gown. Look at the detail. She even has a hoop skirt and shoes and little garters to hold the stockings up and the lace. Look at this. And the flowers in her hair. The lady loved to wear flowers in her hair. Look at the hairstyle. Rooted eyelashes. It's one. I just keep staring at her. She's from the First Lady's collection from the Smithsonian Institute, and it's a Suzanne Gibson doll. I don't know the year. Maybe it'll be on the box. Let's look at the box. There it is. This is the box. Even the cellophane's still intact. Date. Dolls from Reeves International. Suzanne Gibson. It does not say the year. It's based on gowns from the collection of the National Museum of American History, Smithsonian Institution. And there's a little chart in here I wanted to show you. From the First Lady's collection. And it tells all about the dolls and the collection. There's Martha Washington, Mary Lincoln, Grace Coolidge, and Dolly Madison. Now I have Martha Washington, Grace Coolidge, and Dolly Madison dolls, but not of this series. I might have to do something about that. When I saw the doll in person, it was just like, I keep walking by going, oh my gosh, I can't believe. I'll put a picture of her inaugural gown, her inaugural gown at the end of this video, so you can see just how perfectly accurate. This was my favorite inaugural gown. Does everybody have favorite inaugural gowns? No, I'm weird, but I'm okay with that. Okay, let's learn about Mary Lincoln. I refer to her as Mary Lincoln because that's how she referred to herself. This Mary Todd Lincoln, there's two schools of thought. One says it was a political decision because Dolly Madison was a very popular First Lady, and she was Dolly something Todd Madison, so they wanted to connect the two. Another is just in the 20th century, they just started calling her Mary Todd. She did not refer to herself that way. She was born December 13th, 1818, in Lexington, Kentucky. She was one of 7 children. Her mother died when she was 6. Then her father remarried and added 9 more children to the family. She suffered from migraines, and they gave her laudanum, is that how you say that? Almost every day of her life. That's not good. She did not get along with her stepmother, so she moved to live with her sister in Springfield, Illinois. There she listened to political discussions. Henry Clay was one of the family's friends, and she was very interested in political discussions. She was very well educated, smart lady, and she was quite the belle of the ball. She dated Stephen Douglas, Abraham Lincoln's rival in politics and romance. But she married Abe. Apparently fell in love with her at first sight. They had an engagement. They broke the engagement, then they got back together. She married him November 4th, 1842. They say she really polished him because she knew all the social graces and she taught him that sort of thing. and they were quite in love and quite happy. When he was elected to the White House, their son Robert was already in Harvard, so he did not live in the White House with them. But they moved there with Willie and Tad and I forget the other son. There were 4 sons, and I forget one of them. Edward, maybe? I don't know what happened to Edward. I should have researched. Anyway, when she got to the White House, she was from the West. Illinois was the West. And the elite women of Washington did not like her. And they snubbed her. And they made her feel, or they tried to make her feel less than she was, even though she probably knew more about things than any of them. But that explains why she spent so much money on her gowns. She had a dressmaker named Elizabeth Keckley, who was also her best friend, who was also a freed enslaved woman, a former slave. Elizabeth bought her own freedom by her dressmaking skills. And they were best friends, and that, again, was not accepted. So, who cares? The White House was all worn out by the time they got there, and so she spent a lot of money redecorating the White House. That got her in a lot of trouble, spending money on the gowns, which apparently Abe did not mind that, because he liked to see her wear pretty things, and he knew what was going on. But he was a little put out by how much she was spending on the White House, so whatever. The White House staff loved her. They were mostly freed, enslaved people. Hang on a minute. I should have looked up Edward. One moment. Look at the doll. Well, I didn't write Edward's stuff down. I'm sorry. Anyway, her son Willie, their son Willie, died at age 10 of typhoid fever. It wrecked her. Apparently Abe Lincoln mourned by going into Willie's room and staying there as long as he could, but she wouldn't go in the room. She had a real hard time with her little boy's death. And then she canceled all her social engagements for a year, which, again, people got mad at her because they said, well, lots of people are dying in the Civil War. We're going on. So that was another strike against her. She even had seances in the White House trying to contact him. And it turns out they were frauds. And I think Abe found that out and got rid of them. But this poor woman, I can't imagine her heartbreak. Okay, this is a Southern woman. Remember, she was from Kentucky, and her siblings fought for the Confederacy in the Civil War. But she was loyal to the Union, to her husband, to the country. She visited the soldiers in hospitals. She wrote letters for them if they couldn't write it for themselves. The press did not cover that. Of course, she didn't tell them that she was doing it. She did it because it was the right thing to do. But they did follow her when she went shopping and wrote all that down. But apparently she was the only one who could bring Abe Lincoln out of his melancholy. So those two had a commitment to one another. They were taking a carriage ride, and some people think it was an attempted assassination because the carriage had been tampered with. It came apart. She had to jump from the carriage. She had a head injury. So she's had depression. She's had that laudanum. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. And then she had a head injury. She had a lot to deal with. Then they were supposed to go to the Ford's Theater with the Grants, but Julia Grant could not stand Mary Lincoln, so they didn't go that fateful night. When Abe Lincoln was shot right next to her, I can't imagine what she endured. but she had the foresight to say, the president's been shot, because I think they were counting on people thinking that that was part of the play, because John Wilkes Booth jumped from and onto the stage, and they probably wouldn't even been searching for him right away if she hadn't shouted that. So as Abe Lincoln was dying, they wouldn't let her see him, as close as they were. I remember there's a great book, and I was trying to find it. If I find it, I'll put a picture of it. But they took a carriage ride that day, just the two of them. And I don't know if Abe Lincoln had a feeling or what, but they spent quality time together that day. But they wouldn't let her in the room when he was dying, so she didn't even get to say goodbye to him. She lived 17 years after his assassination. She went to Europe with her son Tad, and Tad took care of her. And when they were coming back from Europe, Tad died. He died of tuberculosis, I believe. I don't have it written down, but I think so. Again, more tragedy. It's just and her oldest son, her only remaining son, put her in a mental institution. I don't know why. One book speculated that she was an embarrassment to him. I don't know that that's true. Maybe he truly thought she needed. I don't know. Do any of us know? I don't know. But she wasn't mentally. She was just bereft. And of course, mental illness was treated differently then. So somehow she got the word out. She got another trial, and they found her that she was not. She did not need to be institutionalized. She lobbied for first ladies to have some form of support after the presidency and after their husbands passed. Good for her. After she was freed from the mental institution, she moved to France, and she died July 16th, 1882. I had two reasons I wanted to do this video. After I read about her, to me, history has not been kind. They have not treated her fairly. And I wanted to talk about her from another perspective. This doll, once I got it, I just couldn't wait to do a video because she's absolutely beautiful. And the dress just takes my breath away. So maybe you'll have another opinion of Mary Lincoln, or read about her. Read more than one source, so because everybody has an opinion about the lady apparently. So I hope you loved the doll. There'll be some still pictures at the end. I hope you like this, and comment, follow me on Instagram. Until next time, toodles. Okay, I couldn't leave it go. Edward died at the age of 3. So only one of her children lived to adulthood, and he put her in a mental institution. Let's be a little more kind to Mary Lincoln, shall we? Also, I wanted to note that she was, even though she was from Kentucky, she was always anti-slavery. And she even helped influence Abraham Lincoln on that. Okay, that's the rest I wanted to tell you. Toodles.